Hi everybody, it's Michael Dunaway. I'm the film editor for Paste Magazine, and I am absolutely thrilled because we're with one of my entertainment icons, and certainly no stranger to Paste readers, Mr. Marc Maron.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Which is my camera? Which one? That's okay, good.
Marc has had many lives as an entertainer, of course, but is perhaps best known to Paste fans as the proprietor of the WTF podcast.
I'm a proprietor now? Not a host?
Absolutely.
I'm a proprietor of talk. I'm glad that people know me as an entertainer. I just started realizing I was one a couple of years ago. I appreciate that. It's very nice of you.
How about the magnate of the WTF empire?
I prefer a guy who needs a lot of attention. Could you intro me like that? Here's a guy that needs a lot of attention.
Well, let's start out. We're going to talk about the TV show in just a few minutes, but I want to start out talking a little bit about the podcast. First of all, talk a little bit about sort of your entry into the podcast world. What sort of sparked that?
Sure.
And, yeah.
Well, that was a very focused period of desperation for me. So it was completely fueled by need to continue doing something. Yeah. At the time I started the podcast, I was in some sort of fourth cycle of a job at Air America Radio. I'd been fired 3 times before, and I went back there, groveling for some free money so I could get out of a divorce. And I did a video show for them for about a year that absolutely nobody watched. And then they ran out of money. But being the good progressives that they were, they fired us, but said, but you're on contract with your office for another month, and you can keep your security cards. And we thought, well, this is perfect. We can break into the studio at night and start doing this other thing. So that's how it started. The only decision we really made at that time was to do 2 a week, no matter what. And I made a fairly deep commitment to never talk about partisan politics unless it directly affected me. Because I thought that was bullshit. Am I right? Come on. How long do you got to talk about politics before you realize you're just a hate puppet for other interests? And even if you're angry, it might not be about that. Why don't we go deeper? What are you really angry about? Huh? What are you?
Me? What am I angry about? Gosh, where should we start?
Oh, see, now it's my show.
No, but what you're touching on, actually, the whole anger thing is, of course, one of the keys to what brings me back to the podcast. First of all, obviously, you're a very funny guy. Obviously, you're a very good interviewer. But I love the concept of not only you having people on and sort of helping them work through some of their shit. But then
that's all I'm there for.
But then there's this meta-narrative, too, of you working through your shit through working through their shit.
Yeah, that's the big trick, is like, all I needed to do was talk to people. So why not put the mics on? I just needed to, literally connect with people. My shows are very personal. I don't hold much back. And really, at the beginning, I just really needed to talk to people and peers. And so that began that narrative. And I've worked through a lot of stuff on the podcast. And a lot of fans are just hoping I don't get my shit together because they're concerned that, like, hey, if Maron gets everything that he wants going on, he's going to be sort of a bore. And I'm afraid of that, too. God forbid I feel good about myself, because then what do I do with my career? That'll be the day that I retire. Hey, I'm okay. I'm done. There. That's it.
But, it's really... it's one thing to say, yeah, I'm going to get into some psychological shit on the show, and maybe I'll talk about myself some, but there's such a courage and an openness in what you do that it's really actually touching.
Well, that's because, I don't know why that happens. There's no system to it. I think that, generally I'm going in only to have a conversation. I don't expect people, like for a while people were like, you're going to do Maron's podcast. Like Bobby Slayton came on, and most people don't know Bobby Slayton, but like throughout the entire interview, he's like, you're going to make me cry like Louis C.K.? And like, I don't expect those things to happen. I just make myself as emotionally available as possible for whatever conversation that unfolds. I don't prepare much, and that's the truth. I just don't. I try to make sure I don't leave an interview and say like, oh shit, he won an Oscar. Why didn't I talk about that? I want to make sure I know important junctures in people's career or lives. But usually I just want the conversation at some point to get past their public narrative, to get past whatever they think is supposed to happen when they're on a microphone, and just be 2 people talking. It's not essential to me that it's about anything specific, because I think when you're dealing with audio specifically, you can hear a change in emotion. You can hear the nuances of people's voice and what their passions are, what their feelings are. So almost always if it's a tough interview, about 2/3 of the way through, something just gives. And it's not necessarily some big moment or some big bit of information about somebody. It's just something just relaxes. You can't bullshit for, an hour, even if you're not trying to bullshit. If you're sitting there talking to somebody one-on-one, eventually, you're going to be like, what? And then that's the moment you're looking for. Okay, did you get enough?
Well, especially with you. I mean, it would be hard to keep a front with you for long. First of all, because you're a frickin' bulldog when it comes to getting people to open up. But also because you're open too.
Right, I'm open, but I'm not courting controversy. I mean, there have been times where people have said to me before an interview, like, I don't want to talk about the guy I murdered, because it's like we're still in court. And I'm like, I can respect that.
That
it's
was
a good
Bigley,
story.
wasn't it?
No, it was Andy Dick. But no, it wasn't either of them. For Bigley, no. I mean, that guy's calculating even when he's not being calculating. That's an amazing skill. There's multi-levels. But I love him. See, that's always a good thing when you got to say that after you've said something shitty. Great guy, though, right? Great guy. If a comic's talk about a comic they don't think are funny, nice guy. Nice guy. Yeah, I've worked with him. Really great guy. Super nice. We went to the mall. It was nice. But what were we saying? Oh, so like I'm not really courting controversy. I don't want to make people uncomfortable. If they're going to talk about whatever they're going to talk, I just want to be available for the conversation. Yeah. And if it's one-on-one, like when I talk to Mel Brooks or Robin Williams, there's certain people, performers, that if there's more than one person in a room and somebody's an innate performer, they're gonna turn it on, even if it's two people.
Sure.
But like when I did Mel Brooks, it was just him and I. It was the middle of the day. And, I got something very, candid because I was just available for the conversation. Same with Robin. It was just him and I at his house. And that would be weird if he started going, "Ooh, what have we got? What are we doing?" And, he didn't do that, because it would have been awkward.
Right.
Really? At home you do this? So that's really it, is that, I will, whatever people want to volunteer, whatever comfort level they are at, or whatever they want to talk about, is just to be available for it. And I was a fairly selfish person for most of my life, and becoming an empathetic listener or just letting people talk, which I'm not always good at. I still get criticism. It's like, with people, and I don't even know I'm doing it, but I get people writing emails. It's like, why don't you let your guest finish a sentence? I'm like, because I think I know what they're going to say. I'm just a person, and I want to move on. but that's gotten less.
But it's like Jay Moore says. It's like, in any group of...
Are you quoting Jay Moore to my face?
I'm sorry. In any
Out
group
of all the people in the world, it's like the scholar Jay Moore, in between impressions and sports talk, said something. What? What did he say?
No, he's like, in any group of 100 fans, there's always going to be like two that are total batshit crazy.
Yes,
and they're not going to get it.
And I have all of those people. All of my fans. Like, if you do the numbers proportionately, if you used 100 fans as all the fans available, the batshit crazy, hypersensitive, a little displaced ones are my people. No,
but there's always one or two that are not going to get what you're going after, and they're going to say the problem with your show is that you talk too much.
Yeah,
and
and
actually,
those
that's
are
the key.
Those are the people that I choose to engage with on Twitter, publicly for 20 minutes until I lose.
Right. Well, I have one more question on the podcast too. Do you feel like the format of the podcast and the fact that you started and it was basically yours to do, and there was not a studio exec standing over you saying this is not working, that's not working. Do you feel like you were working through to get to what you wanted to get to as far as the format of the show and the whole point of the show?
Well, yeah, at the beginning, I came out of, I'm not a radio veteran or anything like that. I don't claim that. Radio guys are, their own thing, and, I'm not going to, claim that I was a radio guy. And I have a lot of respect for radio guys, but I just found that talking on that mic, was something that I could do. Yeah, it's, everybody thinks they can talk on a mic and be inherently interesting. I don't know what makes my voice compelling in that format, but I knew that it was. Yeah. So I wanted to work with that mic, audio. And at the beginning, we had other people in the room sometimes. We had more than one guest. We did phoners. And then when I moved to LA, we had third acts that were guests that may or may not have been real. But then eventually it just became about the conversation. So, no meddling by producers or corporate entities is always good for anybody. But then even when you're doing that, you're like, it's only a matter of time, man. You know, they're like, no matter what you're doing on a DIY level, you know, there's that part of you that's sort of like, someone's going to figure out how to fuck us. All right, so let's just try to use this freedom before we're being fucked by somebody. And then you cut to a commercial. You know, that's how it works. It's like, but then you sort of ride on the credibility. It's sort of like, I'm only going to do advertising for things I can sell and in my voice. I'm not going to run any pre-records. And you can do that, you know, but eventually, you know, I was not a guy. I'm not a business guy. If I was a business guy, what you think I'd be doing this? No, I mean, I was a guy that was compelled to express myself in a certain way. So now that all of a sudden we're sitting on all these listeners, you know, eventually you get to the point. It's like, hey, you know, there's like 300,000 people listening. Shouldn't we be making something? There's 300,000 of them. If they could just send us a quarter a day, that would be great. How can we make them send us a quarter? And then they don't. Usually you can only get a few of them to send you a quarter. But ultimately a business sort of evolved out of this thing that we still have, you know, full control over. And we try to, you know, only do ads. Like there's certain things I can't sell. I can sell dildos. I can sell stamps. I can sell some things I don't quite understand, but they seem like good things. But like, you know,
dildos and stamps. What else do you need, really?
That's right. Absolutely. You can mail your dildos to others. There's nothing like sharing dildos through the U.S. Postal Service. But, you know, but there's some things we tried and it didn't work. Like, you know, they wanted us to sell the man grate. And, you know, and I'm like, you know, I don't think my people are really man grate people. It's basically a grill attachment. Right. I remember that because we told the guy, we're like, you know, I'm not, you know, my people aren't grillers, you know, I just got a feeling that the people that listen to my show aren't sort of like, let's get some meat on that thing, you know. And, you know, we told the guy, and he's like, no, it's going to work great. We ran the ad once, and the guy calls us up, panic, like, hey, it's not working out. Exactly. Well, we have we just won't do it anymore. Relax, you know.
We got some good T-bones. We got the new WTF podcast. It's going to be a night.
I just don't see that those are my dudes. It's like, man, I was listening to Marc Maron today in between that and watching the game. You know, it's just not. I got nothing against those people. I think those are the people that be like, what do you do? You know, so.
Well, speaking of sort of waiting to see how they're going to fuck you, I know that you've been outspoken about this whole patent trolling thing, trying to shut down the whole podcasting thing. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and your perspective on?
Look at you slipping the big shit in. Just gonna lube him up a little with stuff about him. Then drop the patent troll bomb. Right. Let's get some real news out of this. That was, you know, patent trolling is something that was new to me. You know, I didn't know anything about it. I'm not a tech guy. You know, I'm a guy that, you know, records a thing in my garage and then my buddy puts it up on the thing. Yeah. That's my knowledge of how it works. So wait, I just turn it on and then great, and then you'll do the rest. So that's me, and that's any podcaster, give or take a guy. So then all of a sudden this patent troll thing happens, and I'm like, what is this? You know, I get a call from Sam Cedar. He's like, did you get a letter from this personal audio? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I get it, and it's like basically this, we're inviting you to license the patent for podcasting. And then there's that moment where you're like, this isn't real, right? And then there's a whole patent in there, and I'm like, what is this? And then I find out they're suing Corolla. You know, basically patent trolls are, from what I understand, and again, I'm no pro at this, but it's been a plague in the tech industry for a long time. And it's basically, there's a pre-existing patent or there's a new patent on a math problem or software, as they'd like to call it, but they don't make anything, right? So they've got this patent for a math problem that if you use this math problem, it will do a certain thing. So there was a patent hanging around from 1996 for menu sequencing, something that is delivered episodically on a computer in a sequence through a menu. So that was out there. So then some genius goes, well, we got to broaden this thing and repatent it so it covers just about everything anyone could do on a computer, and then start, shaking down these idiots who are talking on mics in their mom's house. So when you really talk about it, so they sued Adam, and they sued How It Works podcast, that's Discovery Channel. Yeah. But the problem is that like everybody in this room is sort of like, well, that's crazy. That's got to be bullshit. Yeah, it is bullshit, and it is crazy, but it's going to cost about $1 million for someone to make that legal,
That's right.
to legally say this is bullshit. So do I have $1 million? No. So what does that mean? That means you're in a position to either just, get hit with legal costs or say to the person, how much do you want to leave me alone? Right. Not even make it go away. It's straight up racket. It's
BS.
straight up extortion. It's not even BS. It should be illegal. Because you're saying, like, all right, how much will it take for me to get you to leave me alone? From you. Protect me from you. Straight up fucking mob bullshit. All right, so clearly I have feelings about this. Now,
Angry Marc Maron is in the house.
but I don't talk about politics unless it's up my ass. Do you understand? And like, arguably, you can make that about any sort of politics, but this is specifically, I have a letter that shows someone's trying to fuck me with support from the U.S. patent system and the U.S. government. So, all right, so what's going on now is that, I reached out to a bunch of podcasters. I said, hey, you guys, we hang out sometimes, but, we're all in the same business. You think we could try to, get together on this and try to, see how we can help Adam? What's the real story about this? I reached out to the Electronic Frontier Foundation, and they're on top of this shit. So there's a lot of activity around. We sort of pushed some people to support some legislation called the Shield Bill. This is how you know something's fucked up, is that if the best you can do at this moment for this problem is to get Congress to pass a law that would say if somebody sues you frivolously on a patent, that if they lose, you have to pay the other guy's legal bills. If that's the best you can do, that's a problem. Because the thing cuts both ways. For big corporations, tech corporations that own patents, this protects their device, and they like to sue each other for lots of money. But I think what's happening now, and I think what people have to be aware of, is that content providers, guys who are just like, hey man, I'm just doing this thing, and I'm putting my shit out in the world through something that should theoretically be a free zone, are being bullied and extorted by these things. So what they've done, this particular patent troll, is put a human face on this with us, and it's a real problem, and I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it's almost like someone saying, I own the patent on the if television at some point, like, well, the guy who owns the patent on the vacuum tube. Like, you can turn your TV on, that'll be $5. If you watch it for a few hours, let me know how much you watch it. Well, I guess that's called cable now. But that's what the point is that it's not, they don't make anything, man. And it's strictly an extortion racket.
Well, that's the heart of what makes it the most. I'm going to get on the soapbox too. The most evil in my mind. It's like I don't have the creativity to do something myself, to add something to the world to make some money. So not only am I going to just be frustrated about that, I'm actually going to go to the people that are doing something good in the world, and I'm going to wet my beak there. Well,
I like that you do that, because I think that that in my mind, I'd like to give them that there is that sort of creative frustration in them. It's always been my belief that, lawyers are generally charismatic, sort of creative people, but they just didn't have the courage to follow through. So now we're all going to pay for it.
That's right. That's right.
I'd like to think that's true, but I think these guys, they, obviously they've compromised their conscience to a point to think this is valid. And no matter, the problem about it is that when you're attacking a bunch of guys that all they do is talk about shit. Like, you'd like to think that's powerful enough. I mean, fortunately and unfortunately, grassroots activity is the only thing that can sort of give momentum to change. But me sitting there going, hey, these guys are assholes. Well, you think they care? If they're looking for friends, they're in the wrong fucking business.
Right.
They don't give a shit.
That's right. That's right.
Do you?
All right, well, let's take you back to your happy place. We've gone to Angry Marc Maron. Let's go back to the happy place, because now things are so good and people love you so much that not only do you have,
you're nervous that you pushed me over the edge, aren't you?
I got to pull you back.
Now you got to see
go.
if your charm
we
can save this thing.
We don't want to make that kind of news at South by.
Yeah, you don't know.
But now people are loving you so much that not only do you have, the top podcast around, but now television too. For those of us that 2 times a week, Maron, for an hour and a half is not enough on the podcast.
I got a book coming out too. There's gonna be a lot of Maron available. Yeah, the show is. It looks great. We did a great job representing me. I believe Maron is a half-hour scripted comedy that's going to be premiering on IFC May 3rd. We did 10 episodes. It's basically based on my life. It's about a comic who's hit the hit the wall and started doing a podcast in his garage. And a lot of the stories are taken from my life. Some of the stories you'll be familiar with, but they're in a different format. So don't be like, was Maron out of shit? No, it's a different format.
Right.
But a lot of celebrities who have been on the podcast are playing themselves in the show as podcast guests briefly. Some of them are integrated into the narrative, like Jeff Garlin and Dave Foley, and who else was part of Ileana Douglas plays herself through an episode, but Mark Duplass is on, Aubrey Plaza, Adam Scott, Dennis Leary, Bobby Slayton.
Holy crap.
Andy Kindler plays my buddy. There's it's good, man. It's pretty. Like I watch it and it makes me uncomfortable because I'm like, oh, this is real. Like Judd Hirsch plays my dad, and he's much nicer than my dad. And I'm very concerned that my father's going to get upset about the story. But I think that I'm preparing to tell him that Judd Hirsch is a much nicer version of him, so he should be happy that I used such a pleasant man to represent him. We'll see if that works. But it's good. It's going to be good.
Good.
Yeah.
So May 3rd.
Yeah.
May 3rd,
IFC. Yeah.
Book. Got a street date for the book yet?
April 30th on the book, Attempting Normal. Oh, boy.
There you go. Going to be a big few days for you. April 30th, Attempting Normal.
I am
May
on the
3rd.
precipice of such potential failure. It's spectacular. People can now just turn on me in several mediums.
There you go.
Is that the wrong way to look at it? Let's put a positive spin. I'm thrilled that this much of my work is going to be out there, and I hope people enjoy it.